Hi everyone. Today we will see an interesting and very useful topic to all of us, that is of e-filing from income tax. Myself, Dr. A. Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, KCS Kasinada College of Arts and Science. Topics to be discussed in this session are e-filing, income tax return, TDS, Form 26AS, traces, process of e-filing, types of IT return. Every individual must know all these concepts and terms. Let me see one by one. What is e-filing? E-filing or electronic filing is submitting the income tax return online. So, what is e-filing? Submission of income tax return through online is called e-filing, otherwise called electronic filing. See, e-filing of IT return is mandatory in India. Only very senior citizens who are 80 years and above are allowed to file ITR manually. All others must file electronic filing only. The process of submitting tax returns over the internet using tax preparation software that has been pre-approved by the relevant tax authority is called electronic filing. Okay, now we know what is e-filing. But here we have seen that submission of income tax return through online is e-filing. Then what is income tax return? Income tax return, shortly called ITR, is the form in which assessee files information about his income and tax thereon to income tax department. So it is a form in which an assessee has to give his income details as well as the tax liability details. He has to compute the tax to be paid to the government by himself, and the details is to be furnished in ITR, that is income tax return. Various forms of IT returns are ITR 1, ITR 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Every ITR form is applicable to a certain section of the assessee. ITR forms vary depending on the criteria of the source of income of the assessee and the category of the assessee. As per income tax laws, the return must be filed every year by an individual or business that earns any income during a financial year. Due date for filing IT return of an individual is 31st July every year unless the government extends the date. So, every 31st July, the income tax return, income details of the previous year is to be submitted during the assessment year. If a taxpayer fails to abide the deadline, he or she has to pay a penalty. TDS. TDS stands for tax deducted at source. It was introduced to collect tax at the source from where an individual's income is generated. So, if one is getting an income through salary, then this is actually a source of income is salary. So, the one who is giving that salary should deduct the tax in advance from the employee salary. So, this is called a TDS. So, not only for salary income, for any kind of income, and as per the IT rule, the tax to be deducted from the source of income itself, and the one who is giving income should deduct the TDS. The government uses TDS as a tool to collect tax in order to minimize tax evasion. Why the government is using this TDS? It is used by a government as a tool to collect tax in order to minimize tax evasion, so that the people will not escape on payment of tax. In India, under the Income Tax Act of 1961, income tax must be deducted at source as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. So, even if the person, if an institution or an organization or a person fails to deduct TDS, is also treated as an assessee in default. Deductor and deductee. The person who is making the payment is responsible for deducting the tax and depositing the same with government. This person is known as deductor. The person who deduct TDS from the income of an other individual then the person is called deductor, and his responsibility is the same. The tax which is deducted from his income must be deposited in the government account on behalf of that particular individual. On the other hand, the person who receives the payment after the tax deduction is called deductee. So who is deductee? The person who pays their income tax in the form of TDS, or otherwise we can say like this, from whom income the TDS is being deducted is called deductee. Form 26AS is a statement which shows the amount of tax deducted and deposited in a person's name or a PAN, that is permanent account number, in a particular financial year. Now, what is Form 26AS? It is a statement. So that this is what they said. We will see what is Form 26AS. A taxpayer can view the tax credit or the tax that has been deducted on his behalf in the form of TDS. So TDS is a statement which contains the details of the tax credit of an individual. Otherwise, we can say whoever the person deductor has deducted TDS on behalf of him, and they filed, they deposited the tax amount through TDS, then all the deductions can be viewed in Form 26AS. This information is available in Form 26AS and can be downloaded from the income tax website. It provides information about the tax deducted by various entities on behalf of the taxpayer. So it provides the information about his TDS by various entities. It doesn't mean that the one company has deducted TDS and which can be viewed in Form 26. Whoever be the deductor, whatever be the amount they have deducted, everything can be viewed in one statement, that is of Form 26AS. So for each and every PAN number, a Form 26 is separate Form 26AS is maintained. Form 26AS contains details of tax deducted at source on salary, interest income, real estate or other investments, advance tax refund received during the year and other related informations. So the Form 26AS is not only for the source of income from salary, it is for all the incomes, but the Act is prescribed the different tax rate for different persons. See, TDS is applicable to all incomes and persons for all transactions. Different TDS rates have been prescribed by the IT Act for different payments and different categories of recipients. So, based on the provisions prescribed in the IT Act, the TDS will be deducted and which will be there in Form 26AS. So, how can I view my TDS details in Form 26AS? One can view TDS tax credit through Form 26AS by Income Tax e-filing website or through Traces website or through his internet banking access. Here the term Traces is new one. What is Traces? Traces is the website for TDS reconciliation and correction enabling system. An undertaking of the Income Tax Department, the website enables easy filing of TDS correction statements by deductors. TDS deductors can register on Traces and easily file online correction statement. So TDS is a website which permits the deductor and deductee to log in into the Traces, and a person can view his TDS details and Form 26A through Form 26AS, and not only viewing the details with regard to TDS, a deductor can do a reconciliation and they can do corrections also through Traces. Conditions to go through Traces. View of Form 26AS through internet banking is available only if the PAN is mapped to that particular account, and only a PAN holder whose TDS has been deducted or who has deposited tax, assessment tax, advance tax, TDS or property can register on Traces. See, only the PAN holder can register in Traces and they can view their TDS. If a person is not holding his PAN, then he cannot see his TDS details. How to obtain information from Traces? Only 3 steps. First one, go into that website, proper website, and log in. After register, they'll get an activation link and code to their respective mail ID, and through that link and codes, one can log into the Traces and they can view the Form 26AS AS. Not only view Form 26 AS, a deductor can do a correction or a reconciliation on Form 26 AS. Information is available in Form 26 AS. So we said that tax credit can be viewed in Form 26 AS, not only the tax credit detail, it provides details of tax collected by the collector, advance tax paid by the taxpayer, self-assessment tax payments, regular assessment tax deposited by the taxpayer, details of refund if any, and details of high value transactions. Steps in file the income tax return. The very first step, go to the portal, IT Income Tax Department portal, and download the appropriate ITR and enter the details which is available in the form 16 and compute the tax details. If he is not applicable for tax liability, then he can skip the step. Then confirm the details. After computation, you confirm the details which is prescribed in the form. Then submit the returns to the department. Submit button. And digital signature, if we have a digital signature, that can be uploaded, and after that the confirmation ITR verification will come to the registered email ID, and one can e-verify the returns through either through an internet banking facility or any other mode. There are different types of IT return which is prescribed in the Income Tax Act under the section 139. So based on the characteristics and the nature, the return can be called as so. Normal return, section 139(1). What is normal return? A normal return is a return which is filed by a person who is required to file the return as per criteria. So as per criteria, he has to file the return and he is filing the return. So then in the stipulated time, then that return is called normal return. Belated return. If an assessee fails to furnish the return of income within the stipulated time, what is that stipulated time? 31st July. If he fails to submit it so, then he can file a return, belated return, which means the return which is submitted beyond the stipulated time, and this can also having a time limit. Before 31st March it must be submitted. Revised return, a return which is filed as a revision for the original return. If it is any corrections or omissions mistake in the original return, then he must file a revised return. Loss return, the income tax return filed with the details of losses in the is called loss return. See, one must file the loss return that will help him to carry forward the losses for the future years and to settle off. Then defective return is the type of return for which person receives a notice because the IT department has found any discrepancies or mistakes or any missing informations. In that case, the return will come back to him. That return is called defective return. So thank you for watching this video and listening the concepts patiently. Thank you.